Hello, this is going to be a playthrough of my latest puzzle number 39. This is kind of a two-in-one solution video and like a test playthrough from me to make sure everything works. I spent the last couple of days thinking through the route in my head and making kind of the image, and this is me testing to see that it works like I intended. I've had a lot of people ask me how I come up with the ideas when I've made previous puzzles. So the idea of this video is I'm going to go through this puzzle and I'm going to commentate on how I would solve this if it was given to me. Obviously it's not going to be completely fair because I've made it and I know the solution, but I'm going to talk through logically how I would have approached each step, like different options I would have explored, things I would have considered, and then also mention kind of anything that I thought of when I was making the puzzle. I'll link the puzzle in the video description when I upload it. Just a quick aside on puzzles. To me, making puzzles is one of the most interesting, fun things that I can do with this game. Speedrunning it is obviously really interesting and good fun. But making puzzles, to me, I just find it incredibly fun. People ask why I don't join more. Generally that's because I took a break in about 2013. I started in 2011 until 2013 and then took a break for just over a year. During that time there was a lot of major glitches which were discovered. Kind of all the wall clips, using spin speed, a lot of the dungeon clips, YBA, semi-EG, and then even EG was more understood than it was in the past. So a lot of the newer puzzles use all these glitches, which I'm not familiar with, and I don't really have much interest in these glitches. The only ones that I use are kind of the old school mirror clips, DMD, Fluteless Maya, and Turtle Rock Hop. So I generally make my puzzles with just these clips in mind. Particularly DMD allows you to get to the Dark World early, which lets you do a bunch of stuff different order, which is pretty good for puzzle elements. But yeah, that's the reason I haven't joined many, and all the ones that don't require clips have been made by me, so I haven't been able to join them. I would love it if somebody made some puzzles kind of similar to how I make them. That would be really good fun. Anyway, let's get this started. Right, let's assume I've just opened up the puzzle image. I'm just going to have a quick look at the goal. Defeat Helmsaw King and Trinix using only the blow items. We've got the Master Sword, the Fire Rod, the Ice Rod, and the bombs. Okay. The first thing I'll say is people tend to rush when they're doing puzzles. Like they do the escape and everything, blah blah blah, exactly like you would in a speedrun, but for instance you don't know whether you have to pick up the lamp from Link's house, you don't know whether you're allowed the boomerang. So my advice would be just take a couple of minutes to read through the puzzle before you even leave Link's house. That's generally what happens in other games as well that do puzzle races, like Ocarina of Time for instance. You've got the 3-minute cutscene where people can read and think, and then a lot of the time people will just be stood in Link's house working out their route. So it's worth it to take a couple of minutes to read through, work out like an initial path, an initial route, and then go, rather than doing 5, 10, 20 minutes worth of work, realising you've messed up, reset. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Okay, so just go back to the goal. So I need the Master Sword to defeat these two bosses. How do I get the Master Sword? I need to defeat Light World Dungeons 1, 2 and 3. Fine. And then that's all there is to that rule, really. You can kill Trinex's second phase with the Master Sword and Helmsaw Kings, and then the other 3 items allow me to deal with the first phases. Okay, let's look at the rules, just go through them in turn. Number 1, you must be wielding a different sword for each of the Light World bosses that you defeat. Aghanim does not count as a Light World boss. Okay, so obviously I can't have the Master Sword before I defeated those 3 Light World bosses, so I've only got 3 swords that I can use, the level 1, level 3 and level 4 sword. Level 1 is obviously going to be used on Amos. Then I guess I don't know at the moment which one I need to use on Lamolers or Moldorm, or whether it doesn't matter. But those are the swords I'm going to use. So have a look at rule 3, it just seems a bit shorter. I'll look at rule 2 after. I cannot step on any floor star tiles. Doesn't seem like a huge rule. It's not going to impact many dungeons. There's floor star tiles in Hera, there's some in Skullwoods, some in Ganon's Tower. I think that's the only dungeons that have them. So I'll come back to this if and when it appears relevant. Let's just have a look at rule 2. Anything used to activate a crystal switch, no matter what it is, can only be used once. Okay, so I can only use every item or weapon or whatever once per crystal switch. The other 3 sub-rules: you can activate crystal switches by any method you can think of. Different level items equipment not all considered unique, so can all be used once each. Okay. Sword beams are considered unique, but can only be used once, regardless of whether you change your sword. Okay, so generally I don't write something down as a rule unless it's relevant, so each of those points is relevant. The first one, you can activate crystal switches by any method you can think of. I'm hoping people will realise that there are other ways of hitting crystal switches other than your swords and items. I mean, we do this in No Major Glitches. We use pots to throw at them. There's also another method of activating them. I don't know how well known it is, but you can freeze an enemy either with the ice rod or the ether and then throw the enemies at the crystal switches. That technique is actually required in, I think it's Goddess of Wisdom. One of the A Link to the Past hacks requires you to do that, which is where I got the idea from. And that was actually one of the foundation elements of this puzzle. I wanted to make a puzzle where you had to throw a frozen enemy at a crystal switch. So that was kind of the whole idea behind where rule number 2 came from. Different level items equipment are all considered unique, so can all be used once each. Okay, so each of my swords counts as a weapon. Both boomerangs count, both levels of the bow count. I think that's it in terms of things that can hit switches that have multiple levels. Straight away I'm then thinking, okay, I have those items, but I can never use them all at the same time. Like, I can only ever have one of the 4 swords at any one time. So if I'm planning on going through a dungeon, and say I had to hit 4 switches to get through the dungeon, I could only use a sword to account for one of those. I'd then need 3 other items to go along with the sword, and then the same holds true for the boomerang and the bow. I can never have the bow and silver arrows at the same time, or both boomerangs. Sword beams are considered unique, can only be used once regardless of whether you change your sword. So to me that's saying I can use sword beams once, doesn't matter which sword I use them with, I can only use them once. Okay, that's quite a lot of information to take in, and I'm just starting to think through dungeons in my head, which ones have crystal switches. Before I go into that, I'm just going to quickly cover the 2 restrictions, just to make sure there's no other further complications. Restriction 1, you may not collect either boomerang or the hookshot unless you have the Master Sword. Okay, so straight away there's a couple of items that I won't have access to until I've at least defeated all the Light World bosses to get the Master Sword, but then I need to have got the Gold Sword to have defeated all the Light World bosses due to Rule 1. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to have those 3 items for quite a while. And then restriction 2, no major glitches except for mirror clips, for example DMD, as is usual in my puzzles. Other glitches allowed. I would assume that means Japanese 1.0 glitches are okay, hovering is okay, any other glitch besides wall clips, e.g., semi-EG, YBA, are allowed. That's what that means. Okay, so going back to rule number 2, the crystal switches, the first thing I would do, well, there's 2 things I want to think of straight away. One is which dungeons have crystal switches. 2, which weapons and items are there which allow me to hit crystal switches. I would probably think through the items first. I'm just going to like go through my menu and count how many items I will have available, and then at least I'll know how many crystal switches I'm able to hit. So I've got the bow and silver arrows, that's 2. The 2 boomerangs, that's 4. We have the hook shot, which is 5. Bombs, which is 6. Mushroom magic powder, can't use them. The fire rod and the ice rod, that's 8. Then the 3 medallions, they can't be used for switches. Then in the next row we've got the lamp, that's no. Hammer, that can, so that's 9. What's next? We have the bug net, nope. The Book of Medora, nope. What's the other item in that row? Lamp, hammer, bug net, book. Oh, the shovel and the flute. Neither of them can be used as switches, so we're still on 9. Then bottom row, the bottles are a no. Both canes can, so that's 11. The magic cape can't, the magic mirror can't. So that's 11 Y items. We've got the 4 swords, so that takes it from 11 to 15. We've got sword beams, that takes it up to 16. Shields are useless, the mails are useless, heart pieces are useless. All the equipment is useless. The boots, you can't dash them, that would count as the sword anyway, I'm guessing. Moon pearl, flippers, the gloves and titan's mitts, they're useless. So that's 16 different items, some of which can't be used at the same time, such as the swords, bows and boomerangs, like I said earlier. But then there's a couple of other methods I mentioned. So we've got pot that can be used, so that takes it to 17. We've got a frozen enemy, that takes it up to 18. I think that's it. I would expect everyone to at least realise there's 16 things available there. Hopefully you'd realise that the pot's available. I mean, the pot can be used in quite a few places. The frozen enemy, that's a real tough one to figure out, that you need to freeze an enemy. So yeah, we've got 18 weapons available for crystal switches. Now I'm going to think through the dungeons. So escape and sewers don't have any crystals. Eastern doesn't. Desert doesn't. Hera does. Hera's got a lot. I might come back to that. Let's just think through the other dungeons. Palace of Darkness does. Swamp, it does have one, but you don't actually need to hit the one in Swamp. And then since I'm not allowed the hook shot anyway, there seems very little reason for me to go into Swamp in the first place. Skullwoods doesn't have any. And actually the second part of Skullwoods has floor star tiles on the way to Mothula. So I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be able to go and kill Mothula anyway. So that rules out dungeons 2 and 3 for now. Thieves Town does have a crystal switch, just the one. Ice does, Maya does, and Turtle Rock does. Okay, so we've got Palace of Darkness, Thieves, Ice, Maya, Turtle, and Hera. So that's 6 dungeons with crystal switches. Which ones do I have to go in? I have to go in all of those. Either for the items or to kill the bosses for this puzzle. So let's start with Hera. I'm just going to think through what we do in a normal playthrough. And kind of, I've read through the puzzle now and I've worked out a few things. There's nothing that's going to prevent me doing Eastern up to Desert. Obviously I can't kill Lammolas until I have a new sword, so I can just play until that point, and whilst I'm playing I can think through kind of my routing for more of the later part of the puzzle. Obviously I can't grab the blue boomerang, and I can grab safeties. There's no restrictions on heart pieces, heart containers, bottles, bug net, magic powder, so it seems pretty open. I can get all safety items, blah blah blah. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and try and think of the crystal switches in Hera, and I'm just going to think what I normally do in a speedrun. So we'd normally go in, and then we'd have to slash the crystal switch straight away to lower the blocks, to be able to go down the path on the left. And then when we're down there, we'd normally boomerang the key without hitting the switch in the next room. But then the rule says that the boomerang is banned until you have the Master Sword, so we won't ever be able to do that. We can't get the Master Sword without climbing Hera and killing Moldor. So we have to be able to climb Hera Therefore we have to hit that switch. So that's 2. So that's 2 hits of the crystal switch. And that's actually the reason I banned the boomerangs. Because if you could use the boomerangs there, it skips hitting switches, and I needed to increase the amount of switches you needed to hit. So if you're wondering why that restriction is there, it comes in for that part of the puzzle. Just kind of from a how did I make this kind of standpoint. Also banning the boomerangs, not only does it allow you to hit another crystal switch because you got another item, it obviously reduces the number you need to hit by 1 as well, so it's like it makes the puzzle much easier from 2 different angles. Anyway, to get to that small key we need to hit 2 switches, and then we have 2 options after that. We can mirror out like we normally would back to the start, or we could then try walking back up the stairs. So let's just kind of see how many we would need to hit if we mirrored out. Mirror back to the start after the small key, then we'd have to hit the normal crystal switch again at the start of the dungeon, and then to be able to go to the tile room we'd have to hit another one so that the yellow pegs come down. So that's 2 to get to tile room, whereas if we walked 5, 6, 7 and 8, if we walked back from the first small key, let's think, we would walk up the stairs after getting the small key, and then the blue box would be up, so we wouldn't be able to do anything, we'd be stuck. So we'd have to go back down, hit the switch in the small key room, and then go back up again, which would allow us to go on, but then the yellow blocks would be up, preventing our path to the tile room, so we'd have to hit a switch there as well. So either way, we have to hit 2 switches from getting the small key to be able to get to tile room, either by walking there or by mirroring and making our way there, so it doesn't matter. So that's 4 crystal switches just to get to tile room. Then how do we get to the big key from tile room? We need to hit the switch in tile room, and then we need to hit the switch in the next room, or we could hit the same one twice, it doesn't matter, but you have to hit 2 switches there to be able to at least get to the big key, so that takes our total up to 6. And then what do we normally do next? We need to go up to the hard hat beetle room, so we usually mirror there, and that takes us back to the start, and then we normally hit the crystal switch once and then hit the crystal switch again to be able to go up. So that's 2 more hits if we mirrored. However, let's just consider whether we could walk back from the big key instead. What would happen in that case? We'd be able to go straight back into the kind of mini Moldorm room, then we'd be able to walk left into the tile room, but then the blue pegs would be up, so we wouldn't be able to walk through, we'd be stuck. So we'd have to go into the mini Moldorm room and hit the switch once, and then we'd be able to go through to tile room. And then we'd go upstairs, back into the main lobby, but then the yellow pegs across the middle would be up, so we wouldn't be able to get down. So we'd have to go back to tile room, hit that switch, and then go back upstairs to the main lobby. So that's 2 hits of the switch. And then we'd be able to go to the hard hat beetle room straight from there. Again, so either way, either mirroring from big key or walking back from big key requires 2 hits of the crystal switch. Doesn't matter which. So that's a total of 8 crystal switches for Hera. This is getting pretty high. What do we do after we've done that? We're in the beetle room, we'd normally hit that crystal switch in that room. But then we don't actually have to hit that. If you go into the next room, there's 2 paths through that room. We hit the crystal switch there because it's faster, but it's not actually necessary. So if we didn't hit it and we went into the next room, we'd just have to take the path where the yellow pegs are down, on the left. But then this is where rule 3 comes in. You cannot step on any floor star tiles. To be able to get through that room, you would need to rearrange the pits so that you can walk past. So that seems like it's not going to be possible. So we either need to find another way through those pits, or we have to hit that crystal switch. So I'm just thinking of the size of them. They're standard 2x2 tile pits, which we know we can bomb jump over those. So if I had to, I could bomb jump over that gap, or hover. Since hovering's not banned, you could also hover over that gap. I don't know whether any of the walls are hookshotable in that room or the next room, but since we can't have the hookshot at this point, that doesn't matter, so that rules that out. So we've got two choices: hit the switch or try and bomb jump our way over that gap. Then in the next room, it's a similar kind of story. You have a couple of star tiles on the floor. You have pits and crystal switches. So if you don't want to hit any of them, we'd probably have to bomb jump and or hover over the gaps. But I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get through all of that. And then that would take you up to the moon pile room, which we would normally bomb jump over, and then you wouldn't normally hit the floor star tile there. Or would you? Yeah, you'd normally walk on it when you come back over after picking up the moon pearl, but you could always fall down the side and walk back up. There's nothing preventing you from doing that. You obviously couldn't mirror back to the start because you'd have to use items to hit crystals again to reclimb, or you couldn't death warp or save and quit. So you'd have to do Hera in one go, which is actually another important point. I guess if I'm intending on killing Moldorm, which I am because I want the Master Sword, I need to come here and get the Moon Pearl, and also kill Moldorm at the same time. So I need to have either the Templed or Gold Sword when I'm climbing Hera. Okay, so the two options for Hera are 8 crystal switches and then some bomb jumps or hovers to get up to the top, or 9 crystal switches and no bomb jumps. Seeing as it seems like a sensible idea is to minimise the number of crystal switches, let's say that Hera requires 8 for now. That seems like a sensible thing to do. Obviously once you've got the Moon Pearl, you just go up to the next level and then go up to Moldorm. There's nothing difficult or restricted about any of that. So that's Hera. Then I'd be able to DMD. Well, actually, since I've just established that I wouldn't be able to climb that without the Tempered or the Gold Sword, that means I'm not going to have the Moon Pearl in the Dark World for a while. So that's probably going to cause some issues. I'm going to need to collect items. Well, actually, I'm going to need... The first sword I can get is the Tempered Sword, after the Fighter Sword. And to get that, I need to either do the weird mirror jump stuff, or I need to have got the Titan Smiths. Yeah, or I need to have got the Titan Smiths so that I can rescue the smithy and upgrade my sword. And if I am getting, let's assume that I don't need the mirror, the early Tempered Sword, which you don't, then the only way for me to, so I'm just concentrating here, the only way for me to get the Titan Smiths to rescue the smithy is by getting the hammer and going into Thieves Town to do that. So if I haven't got the Moon Pearl, it's quite difficult to do that. You can use Bunny Revival, which I've used in a previous puzzle. That will allow me to go over to Palace of Darkness and get the hammer. And then there's also a way of using Bunny Revival to get me across to Thieves Town and open Thieves Town without the Moon Pearl. It's not particularly well known, so this is going to be another element of the puzzle which I'm assuming people might not think of straight away. So just there I've done Armos using the first level sword. So that's kind of the first Lightworld boss down. I'll come back to the Bunny Revival glitches and kind of the routing for that when it becomes more apparent. Anyway, let's just continue going through the dungeons. So we've got Darkness. How many switches do we hit in Darkness? We don't actually hit any switches to get to the hammer. It's just a straight run through the dungeon. Then when we get the hammer, we usually go back to the main kind of lobby in the middle of the dungeon and then go right, and we usually arrow the crystal switch there to get into the room. However, I'm thinking, do we absolutely have to hit that? There are other routes to get into that room. Well, one other route. If you go down the right hand side of the dungeon when you enter, you can take the warps, which takes you to a mimic room and then to like a hellway type room, and then you eventually come up onto the little ledge, which you need to lower the pegs with the hammer in, and you can hop off that ledge there. It's near the map and a fairy fountain, into the room where you need to move the statue onto a switch. So if we did that, there's no crystal switches that route, so that would skip that initial crystal switch. I'm not sure whether there's going to be any more knock-on consequences of that, but let's just carry on for now. You'd go through and do the normal mimic room, and then there'd normally be a crystal switch that you need to hit there, so that we can lower the yellow peg and go right. But that's only the case if we've hit that first crystal switch in the middle room. And of course, if you're taking the longer path and skipping that crystal switch, it means that the yellow pegs will be down. So we wouldn't actually need to hit that switch in that room. So we'll be able to just dash right, shoot the arrow at the statue to move the wall, and then go down to the basement. So that skips 2 switch hits that we'd normally do in a speedrun. And then what are we going to do after that? Then we'd hammer the peg, and then there's a crystal switch in that room that you have to hit to lower the pegs there. So we absolutely have to hit that crystal switch, there's no way around that. And then you go through Turtle Room and to the boss, there's no more switches there. So it seems like you can get through Palace of Darkness to Helmasaur, and we need to kill Helmasaur because he's in the goal, with just 1 crystal. So that's that. Again, Swamp has 1 crystal switch, but we don't ever need to hit it. Skull doesn't have any. And then onto Thieves Down. So Thieves Down has 1 crystal switch in the room after Hellway. What do we normally do there? We normally hit it and then go upstairs so that we can go through to bomb Blind's room. Do we need to kill Blind? There's no reason to kill Blind. I mean, we could get a heart container, but it's not required in the goal. So do we need to hit that crystal switch? Well, actually yes we do, because you won't be able to go right at Hellway down to the basement without hitting that, because we still need to lower the pegs for that. So we will need to hit that crystal switch. Of course we can get the small key in that room, and there's no reason for us to have to go north to bomb the hole above Blind, so we could just use that small key in the basement to skip going to kind of the maiden. So it'll save it kind of a little bit of time there. And then once we're in the basement, there's no crystal switches, we can get the Titan's Mitts and leave kind of without any trouble. I meant to save and quit to the Sanctuary then. I'm actually gonna just like pause here, because now, well not quite yet, I can still go up Death Mountain to the mirror, but after that I'm gonna have to really start thinking about what my next move is. So that's Thieves Town, just the 1 switch, and then we've got 3 more dungeons to think through. We've got Ice, Maya and Turtle Rock. I will think about those in a second. Oh, I didn't quite get it. In fact, I'm going to take a minute and just think about them now. And I'm maybe just going to jot down some of the stuff I've thought of so far. No harm in keeping a record of what you've thought of. So I said that I had 16 weapons and items available, plus the pot, plus a frozen enemy to hit switches with. So that's 18. I've worked out that I need the gold sword and tempered sword for dungeons 2 and 3 of the Light World, and I need to climb Hera in 1 go with T-sword or gold sword. So crystal switches, I've worked out in Hera there's 8 or 9, depending on whether we use bomb jumps and hovers. Palace of Darkness we can get through just using 1. Swamp and Skull, I've got none. The we're concerned about. Thieves Town, we said there was just one. So Ice, Maya and T-Rock. Let's have a think about these then. I've also established that Bunny Revival needed. So what do we need for that? We're going to need bottles, or one bottle and a fairy. So we're going to need a bug net, and we're going to need the flippers. So I'm going to have to get all of those at some point. Anyway, let's think through ice. What do we normally do? Crystal switches. You go straight in, you carry on as you would, just making your way through the dungeon, and then the first crystal switch is in the room above Starfish's room. We'd normally hit that to lower the blue block to be able to go to the top half of the room, at the same time placing a bomb whilst we're on the other side to then lower the yellow pegs, and then we'd normally throw another bomb and that will blow the hole up and hit the crystal switch for a third time so that we can bomb jump over the gap. But we don't actually have to hit that third switch. I mean, we can get down that gap hitting it twice. So let's just proceed like that for now. It could be the case that we do need to hit a third switch, but you don't need to hit it for the third time right there. So let's continue with just twice. So we'll have the yellow pegs down. Do Starfo's room, do the conveyor room. Now we're in the room we'd normally do the diagonal bomb jump over. However, because we didn't hit that switch for the third time, it means the pegs will be down, so we can just walk on normally. Down to the penguin room, and then we're in the crossroads. Okay, so we've got a few options here. Right hand side is the locked door, so we can't go through there. If we went left, fire snake room, down to the room above blue mail, then we have to drop there. To the blue mail room, walk right, and then we're in the room where you'd normally just push the block down the hole in the middle. But because we didn't do the bomb jump room, it means that those blue blocks will be up, so we can't push that. But we'd be able to walk around to the room on the right hand side. The top room is locked by the big key door, so if you want to go through there we need the big key. So we could go to that room on the right hand side. I'll just pause there for a second. If we'd gone north at the crossroads, you then fall down into the big ice room. You can't go south there because it's a locked door. If you go through the left hand door, then you're back in the room above blue mail. We can already get there, so no use bomb jumping over that pit or anything like that. Then if you went through the top right door of that big ice room, you're in a room where you need to hookshot over, or do a diagonal bomb jump over, or hover over. So we don't have the hookshot, so we'd have to do a diagonal bomb jump, or hover. I don't actually know how to do either of those things. But they're not banned, so you could do this. If you did do that, where would it take you? You'd get over the gap, go through the door, and then you'd be in that room with all the spikes dash across. You would go up the stairs, and then you'd be in the room to the right of the crossroads, where there's that locked door. So that would get us to the door to the right of the crossroads. And again, I'm just going to pause there for that route. If we'd gone the other way, left of the crossroads, dropped down, gone right at the big key door, takes us into a room where there's an anti-fairy and kind of Zoros. There's a small key in there, and you can open the door and go south, so we'd have one small key. You follow the little windy path, and then there's another small key in a room with a couple of jellies. Then you got some stairs, and then you're in a room which is south of the big ice room. That if you went north of the crossroads and dropped down, you'll be in that south room. And we've got two small keys, so we could open that locked door now, taking our small key count to 1. And then we're back in that room, so we could go north and do the bomb jump, blah blah blah, like I said, or hover over that gap. But if we did that, there'd be no point, like we wouldn't have had any reason to have done the south loop we've just done, except for we've got a small key, but I don't think that's relevant. So if we are intending on using the bomb jump or hovering, there's no point doing the south loop first. However, if we don't want to do that, we've got a small key now. So we're back in that long ice room. If we went through the left hand door, we could bomb jump over that gap. So we're in the room which is above blue mail, go up the stairs into the fire snake room, go right, so we're back in the crossroads, and now we've got a small key, we can open the door on the right hand side of the crossroads, and that would take us to the same place that we would have got to if we had hovered or bomb jumped over the diagonal gap in the top right room of the big ice room. Except for we can either get there with 0 keys or 1 key. Quite interesting, there's 2 routes to get there, and it doesn't seem to matter which one you take. So once we're there, you can get a small key in that room by hitting the switch on the right, and then the chest appears with the spikes in the middle. You go upstairs, you can get another small key in that room. You open the door on the right, you go up the stairs and it takes you to the big key. Now we probably don't want to go left and then back down the north at the first crossroads of the dungeon, because we'd have to hit the crystal switches again. So after the big key, if we went back down the stairs, opened up the door, that'd take us back down to the room where we had that small key, went left and we're back at the crossroads. There's 2 small, so we could, no matter which route we take, we can acquire 2 more small keys and the big key from the room that you arrive at, no matter which route you take. So this is actually quite good. We've got 2 small keys with a potential for a 3rd if you took the harder route initially and the big key. So if we then went left at the crossroads, down through the fire snake room, down the stairs, drop down, we could even pick up the blue mail now, we've got the big key if we wanted, to the room on the right. Now we're back in the room that's got that big key door, and again we haven't hit any crystal switches, so those yellow blocks are still down. We could actually go through that door now. Then in the next room the blue switches are still up, so we can't fall down the fairy bits. We've got a small key, so we can open the door there. And then there's a room with just anti-fairy, you go south. Then you're in the room where you need to push the block onto the switch on the floor to open the door to Coldstair. We have another small key, so we could open the door on the right, and then that would allow us to hit a crystal switch. However, if we were going to do that, we could have saved ourselves all of this trouble and just done the usual, hit the switch with the bomb whilst you're falling down above Starfoes and bomb jump over the gap. However, if we don't want to hit that switch, you don't actually need the block to be able to open the room to Coldstair, because if you have the Cane of Samaria, you can just put it on that and then go into Coldstair's room. Then you can go down to Coldstair and then kill him. So actually, the minimum number of crystals you need to hit in ice is 2, if you have the Cane of Samaria. So I'm just going to jot that down. Again, so that took a little while to think through, but just going through ice in my head, I've managed to work out how many switches we can hit at minimum. Just going to finish the same exercise with the other dungeons. With Maya, you can get to the Cane of Samaria without hitting any crystal switches. We normally do hit one, so that after you pick up the Cane of Samaria, you go to the left and then those blue pegs are down, and then you can quickly go north and proceed to the boss, but you don't actually need to hit that, it's just quicker to do that in a speedrun. So if we don't hit any crystal switches, get the Cane of Samaria, go to the left, then you can't actually go up, so you'd have to hop down and go back into the main lobby. You could then navigate your way to the top right, and then you'll be able to navigate your way down to the basement. Again, you'd have no crystal switches to hit there. You could even mirror or save and quit. After you get the Cane of Samaria, there's nothing preventing you doing that, because you don't need to hit any crystal switches to get to that part of the dungeon, like you did with Hera. So for Hera, we'd have to complete it in one go, because if we left, we'd have to hit crystal switches to reclimb it. In Maya, that's not a problem. So after the Cane of Samaria, we can get down to the basement. Again, 0 switches being hit, and then we normally get into the room where you do the Cane of Samaria dash to hit the crystal switch at the top, where there's like the square of conveyor around it. We'd only need to hit that if we'd hit the first crystal switch in the dungeon to, switch them back to how they should be originally. Since we haven't hit a crystal switch, there'd be no need to hit that, because the yellow blocks will be down. So if you go through the left door, the first row of yellow blocks will be down anyway. So we'll be able to bomb the wall there, opening the cave to the other crystal switch without any problems. But we do have to hit that crystal switch so that we lower the blue pegs to get through to the door on the left. So that's the first switch we have to hit. You can't bypass that. And then in the next room, we dash up to the top. Then we normally throw that pot at the crystal switch there to lower the yellow pegs again to get to Vitreous. And again, there's no way around hitting that. You have to hit that. So in Maya, that's two switches in Maya. So then we just got the one dungeon left, which is Turtle Rock. Okay, what do I know about Turtle Rock? We can do the Turtle Rock hop, and we can still get Quake and go in that way. I'm going to just think about the regular route first. If we went in with Quake through the normal entrance, you'd normally go to the top right roller room, get the small key, then you'd use the small key to open the door with a pokey, get another small key from the pokey, open the other locked door, then you're in the chain chomp room, and then you have to hit the switches once to lower the blue pegs to get that small key, then again to lower the yellow pegs to get down to the basement. So there's two switches of the crystal there. And I don't really want to have to hit them if we don't need to. So we could go in that way, get a key, and then just leave before we go to the chain chomp room. Then if we went outside and did Turtle Rock hop, that brings us in the entrance where there's the mirror shield. You can either go through the left door or the mirror shield door, it doesn't matter. Either way, it takes us to the room with that small roller, or to the left room with the double pokies. Since we don't have the small key, the big key, sorry, we can't go north in the side roller room, so we have to go to the double pokey room, go through a tunnel, a pipe, and then if you went through the door, that would take us back into the room you'd get to after doing chain chomp room. Except for now we're here with the small key and without hitting crystal switches. So then if we then went through the other pipe on the left, it would take us to the room where I always die in my speedruns, where you've got an anti-fairy, 4 anti-fairies, and then you need to kill a pokey for a small key, and there's the laser eye above the door, and then you go through the pipe to get the big key. However, we'd need to hit a switch there to lower the blue pegs. We'd normally have hit a switch in Chain Chomp Room twice, so they'll still be in the same position as if you hadn't hit any switches, so we still need to hit that switch once in that room. So that's going to require one hit to get to the big key. So then we've got two choices. We can mirror, which would reset the switch's position, or we could walk back as we are. So at the moment we've got the blue ones down, so let's just walk back. If you walk back to the mirror room, we could get the mirror shield if we wanted. We could go through the big key door this time, above mirror shield. Bonk into the door, into the wall to open that. And then we'd be in the room where there's a side roller, a small key and a chest on the left, and 2 blocks, 2 blue blocks, 2 yellow blocks even, blocking a path into and out of that little area. If we just walked back from the big key room, then blue blocks would be down, so we wouldn't be able to go up. The yellow blocks would be up, so we'd be stuck there. Since I've already got the small key from using Quake, going to that entrance and getting that small key at the start, there's no need to get that chest on the left, because we can use this small key to open the door on the north. So instead, if we mirrored after getting the big key and then went north, the yellow pegs would be down. We don't need to hit the switch in there to get the small key. We can just go straight through, open the door, and down into the Samaria maze in the basement, the dark maze. So again, we haven't had to hit any crystal switches to get to this point. And you make your way through Samaria maze, and once you're on the other side, you dash down, 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 and then you get the small key from that chest there, and then you go through to the room just before Trinex, which is like a labyrinth of, and that's got a lot of crystal switches in. So we've needed one to get to there. What do we normally do from this point? We'd normally slash the first crystal switch once, and then we'd place the Samaria block and cane dash across, and that would hit 1, 2 more. So that would take 3 hits, and then we'd be at the boss. So including the 1 to get the big key, it's like 1 and 3, so that is 4. I don't know off the top of my head the layout of that room. I don't know whether we'd need... it could be possible to do that without 3 times. Like, it might just be that it's really fast to hit switches 3 times. It could be possible to only hit switches twice. I don't think you could get through just hitting them once. But it could be the case that it's twice. Therefore, T-Rock could be 4, or it could be 3. I don't know, but that's something to note. I'm just going to put 4, maybe 3. And that's all of the dungeons thought through in detail. So I'm just going to add up how many crystal switches we've got. If we go for worst case scenarios, in Hera that was 9, Palace of Darkness was 1, so that's 10, Thieves was 1, that's 11, Ice was 2, so that's 13, Maya was 2, so that's 15, and T-Rock was 4, so that's 19. That's 19 worst case scenario. However, I've established that we had 16 weapons, a pot and a frozen enemy to give 18 ways to hit switches. So if I'm planning on doing all of those dungeons, which I have to do for this puzzle, to get the gold sword and get to Trinex and Helmosaur, then I've got 1 too many switches. So either it's possible to do T-Rock with just 3 and not 4, or in Hera there's no need to hit the Beetle switch and we can bomb jump or hover over the gap. I'm thinking that's probably more likely. So let's say that Hera is 8. And then we've got 18 methods of hitting a switch and 18 switches to hit. So that's pretty much solved that. I don't know which items I'm using on which switches yet. I don't need to think about that right now. I guess the next thing I need to do is make my way into the Dark World and equip myself for Bunny Revival. Because the first thing I need to do is work out which dungeons I need to do when. If I want to climb Hera, I need 8 items. At the moment I've got the bow and bombs and a sword. That's 3 crystals. So we're really short. And also I established earlier that I need the tempered sword. So the first dungeon it looks like I'm going to need to go in is Palace of Darkness, so that I can get the hammer. I don't need to go to Helmosaur yet. Indeed, I can't go to Helmosaur yet because I don't have the Master Sword, so I can't kill him. Please don't block me again. Nice. Pro dashing. So I'm going to make my way to Palace of Darkness. However, I won't be able to have the Moon Pearl. So I'm not going to heal myself. I'm going to have to get bottles, bugnet, flippers. All of that's going to be needed. Actually. So I guess the first thing I want to do now is start getting all that stuff. But I may as well do some other item gathering, like the Ice Rod is going to be useful. That allows me to hit another crystal switch. I'm going to need that for Trinex anyway. And seeing as I'm going to go down here to get rupees to get the flippers, I may as well go get the Ice Rod at the same time, kind of thing. Kind of makes sense. So to get the hammer, I won't need to hit any crystals. It's only 1 in Palace of Darkness, and that's to get to the boss. So then the first crystal I'm going to have to hit will be in Thieves Town. And what am I going to want to hit that with? Now, I mentioned it earlier that I can't use, like for instance, I can't use all my swords at the same time. And the whole point of me going into Thieves Town is so that I can get the tempered sword. Therefore, oops, I thought I had the bow out. I'm going to let that blow up anyway. It's a bee. Wow, what just happened? Basically, I want to use my fighter sword on the Switch before I get the tempered sword, otherwise I've lost the use of my fighter sword. And obviously because I've only got 18 switches, 18 items, I have to use the fighter sword at some point. Therefore to me that says I need to use the fighter sword in Thieves Town before I then upgrade to the tempered afterwards. I don't really see anything wrong with that logic. So that's that one switch down, and there's that dungeon down. I don't really need to think through that any more than that. I don't think there is anywhere else I could use the fighter sword, like of meaning. I don't think I could acquire enough items to get through Hera initially. I might test that first though, and see, okay, can I actually get 8 items to climb Hera? Which one has bombs in the other one? But actually, thinking about it, there's a pot in Hera, in the tire room and in the beetle room. Although we established that I didn't need to hit the beetle room, but there's pots in tire room. So I would need, let's say if I use the sword for one switch, a pot for one switch, I'd only need 6 items to get through. I should have saved and quit out. I don't know why I didn't save and quit. Never mind. So I've got the bow, the ice rod, the bombs. I could get the fire rod. That's 4. The hammer, 5. I can't get another item without doing Hera. Without doing... Oh, I can just jump across here, can't I? No, because I don't have flippers. Duh. I can't get a 6th item, so I can get 7 items to get through. That's a bomb sometimes, nice. I'll be 1 item short to climb Hera with the fighter sword. I can't get the Cane of Bryna because I won't have the Moon Pearl. I can't get the Cane of Samaria because I need the tempered sword to get the ether to get into the dungeon. Therefore I have to use the fighter sword in Thieves Town, or I can't get to Ice, can't get to Maya. It won't be useful in Palace of Darkness. Turtle Rock, can't get there. It's the only dungeon that I can use it in. Like, there's no other place that it could be useful. So there's kind of 2 ways to arrive at that conclusion. By elimination, or by just thinking sensibly that you need to use it before you upgrade to the tempered sword. Okay, so we've got flippers and the ice rods. I also need to get a bottle and a bug net. I could grab as many bottles as I wanted, actually. I'm just going to grab the 1. I'm going to avoid most safety items that I don't actually need. I've already grabbed the Sanctuary Heart, but I mean there's no real reason to skip that. The reason that I got all those 300 rupee chests is because I'm going to need 110 to get into Palace of Darkness, and I need 110 to upgrade my sword and get the super bomb as well, so I'm going to need another 220 after flippers. So I should have enough rupees for the rest of the run now. Unless I end up having to buy something else. Right, we want him, and now I'm equipped, I believe, to do DMD. I'll be able to bunny revive on the other side. I've got the ice rod. There's nothing else in the light world that I can get of use at this point except for more safeties, unless I'm overlooking something. And then I'm just going to start thinking about other crystal switches now, and potentially what to use where. It's occurred to me that some crystal switches can be activated with short range weapons, some with long range weapons. Like the one in Thieves can be activated with a sword because you're standing next to it, whereas the one at the end of Palace of Darkness, I'm not going into Hera. That was muscle memory. The one at the end of Palace of Darkness, I need a long range weapon to hit that with. So that's something to bear in mind for the other crystal switches in the game too. I'm not sure that's going to be a huge problem, but it might be. I guess I'm going to find out. So what am I going to do now that I've DMD'd? I can't jump over to Palace of Darkness because I can't swim with the bunny or get the fake flips glitch as a bunny. So I can't use that past the Palace of Darkness. Fine. The only place where you can bunny revive is where there's a body of water, and you need to be able to get into the body of water. So it needs to either be a shallow body of water that you can just walk onto, or a deep body of water where there is a staircase allowing you to deboost into it. Those are the only two methods of activating it. There's a body of water here with a staircase, so there's one place I could bunny revive. Nothing north. This is Skull Woods, and yeah, we're going to need the fire rod at some point anyway, so there's no reason to not go into here. What have I got? That should kill me. So then if you kill yourself inside a dungeon, you... I've got a fairy obviously, haven't I? Well, never mind. There's no point picking up that fairy. And now I'm normal Link again. Oops, I forgot to kill these things. That was slow. Okay. So if you listen to the music, I'm not in the proper Dark World now, I'm in like the fake Dark World. Which if I leave Skull Woods, I'll be in... It will be the light world, but it will have some of the Dark World sprites and things like that. However, I can still like go between the different parts of the dungeon as long as I don't phase out of Skull Woods. However, if I leave here, the only way to get back to the Dark World would be to DMD again. So I want to make sure I warp so that I'm back in the true Dark World before I leave, so that I am still in the Dark World. Right, what else can I do? I could DMD back up there. Okay, not DMD. I could bunny revive up there. But the first thing I need to do is get the hammer. Anything in the Darkwood town that I want to do? The problem is I can't open Thieves Town as a bunny. So that bunny revive up there would allow me to be Link in this area. So I'd be able to open Thieves Town. I could play the chess game if I was Link. Not particularly useful. There's nothing else I can do as a bunny in this area. Nothing here. Back when I first DMD'd, I can't get the magic cape either, because I can't get through the bushes. That's the same reason I can't get to the shovel. I can't get through those bushes as a bunny. Back up here. And now if I'm going to bunny revive, I'm actually going to need to get a fairy. There's a nice fairy fountain just here. Which makes it very convenient. So I'm thinking 3 places that I can bunny revive of use in this game will be in the swamp area, which is commonly known, where I've mentioned before, which isn't that well known, but you should be able to figure it out. Oh, actually, you can do Lake Hylia as well. You can do the super bunny glitch there, because there's a deep body of water and a staircase. And then there's by Maya. You can do it in the shallow waters by Maya, which again is quite well known, I believe. So if you've got the flippers, you can do this. You just stole my shield, what a fuckface. I think how this works is you just tap left or right slowly into shallow water, or into water where there's shallow and deep water, and for some reason as a bunny you can just walk into it. Actually, I've done this wrong, haven't I? Yes, I have. I need to redo this. I need to be 1 hit away from death before I start. And I died. Well, let's go get another fairy. Doesn't this dude give you a fairy? Maybe not. But yeah, how you need to do it is you need to be 1 hit away from death when you're walking into the water. And then you either, once you're in the water, you either need to mirror or switch screen. I did both here just to be doubly safe. I don't think I need to do both. If you mirror into the light world, just wait until you mirror back. You don't even need to move. There we go. And then when you get killed, you revive with your fairy and it turns you into normal Link. I think it works because you're not normally meant to be able to mirror when you're in the water like that, especially as a bunny, and without the moon pearl. So I'm not normally meant to be able to be here, and the game is confused because I'm swimming, and you should only normally be able to swim as Link. And the game checks for whether you're swimming before it checks for whether you're a bunny. And it will always assume you're Link if you're swimming. So when you get revived, when the game performs these checks, it makes you swim, and then it doesn't check for the bunny because it's already put you in the yes state for swimming. So that's why it works. It's very clever. So now I'm linking these areas. I can't go into town because I don't have the Titan's mitts, but I can now go through here, so I can at least get the shovel, which will allow me to later get the flute, which would be useful, just to get around. It will save me from doing fluteless Maya. What else can I do in this area? I can't go north through the hammer pegs towards the pyramid. So the idea is to get to... I mean, I could go to the light world now, get the flute, but then whenever I leave the dark world, if I go through a door into a house or a cave, or if I walk back to the light world, whenever I come back to the dark world through my warp, I'll be a bunny again. So I don't want to do that as much as possible. Like, I couldn't even go in there. I could go left and get Bombus. Don't see any use for that, seeing as I have Fire Rod. But I can go over here and swim down here, which will allow me to swim over to Palace of Darkness, which is what I've been trying to do. And actually, I decided earlier that I wanted the Quake for Turtle Rock. Seeing as I'm on this side in the Dark World, I may as well go get it now. It's a bit of a long way to walk or run, but I'm going to need it. Maybe there's a quicker place to get it later in the game, later in the route. I don't know. Ah, I've lost the lottery there. The last thing I want to do is die here. Ah, how funny. I'm going to have to do that entire setup again because I'm a scrub and I really need the toilet, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay. So that was shambles. Unfortunately, I'm now going to have to D&D and make my way back down there, get a fairy and revive again. If I was actually playing this in a race, I probably would have grabbed 2 bottles, 2 fairies, so that I had a safety fairy after I'd bunny revived. Or just not been completely bad at the game. Or equally, I could have just not gone to Quake straight then, and could have gone at a later point. Or if I had one more heart, if I'd done anything really, if I'd collect 4 heart pieces. It's not actually that long, it's like 2 minutes. Oh, I forgot to say that when you're doing Bunny Revive, obviously you need the flippers, a bottle, a bug net to be on 1 life, and the other criteria you need is for some way to die. You need something to kill you. It just happens that North Body of Water does have spear throwing guards that kill you. the south water that I was just in has all the enemies there that killed me. And the Maya area has them too. I can actually go get the flute now, seeing as I'm already a bunny. He was going to get me anyway, even if I went and avoided him and went up here. Nice invincibility frames there. Let's get a ferry. Just making sure I'm going to have a decent number of health. There we go. For fuck's sake, I got stuck on the corner. I confirmed bad. This is not hard. Take two. That's an annoying amount to have. Okay. Okay, take two. Let's wait for this guy to come over here. There we go. Excuse me. Let's go. I'm going to go back and get Quake again. Wow, nice gold block. Won the lottery that time. Okay, finally we're at Quake. After that bit of a detour, because I'm bad at the game. Right, now we can go to Palace of Darkness. That's annoying. That guy has blocked my path with the super speed. One of the reasons I like this puzzle and a lot of my puzzles is like you need to take unorthodox routes and approaches to do things. Like, it's a lot more than just knowing how to speedrun no major glitches. Like you need to think and do things in different cool ways. Like really exploring what you can do in the game. And this puzzle looks deceptively simple. I like it because it's clear and concise. There's not many rules. The goal is clear. But then when you start trying to figure out how you're going to do it, you're like, oh shit, I've got all these motherfucking crystals that I need to hit. And that's where rule number 1 came from. I needed something which made you have to do dungeons 5 and 6. So I made the gold sword something you had to get. So hence the 3 different swords on the light ward bosses. And then to do dungeons 5 and 6, you need to have gone into dungeons 4 and 1 to get items to get there. Dungeon 3 for the fire rod to do ice. And then the goal is to defeat dungeons 1 and 7, so that does Trinex. At the moment, there's no apparent use for dungeon 2. I don't know whether I'm going to need the hook shot or not at this point. It's banned until I get the muscle sword anyway. I've done this completely wrong. What am I doing? Knew that was going to hit me. So we got the big key. There's the switch we'd normally hit to lower these blocks if we were to try and get through to the boss in the normal method. Let's see if I can remember how you do this ball jump. It's not half bad. Ever since someone told me to move diagonally there, it's like changed my life. So that's all I need to do. I can't go to the boss yet. So I'm in the real dark world now, I believe. That's why I'm a bunny. Let's think, what am I doing next? I want to go and do Bunny Revival to get into Thieves Town next. I can't get back over there as a bunny. So I'm going to want to save and quit. I can save and quit in the dark world because I haven't killed Aghanim. So that'll take me to the light world. So actually, I can go get the flute, get a fairy, and then I'm going to have to DMD again to get back to this part of the dark world. It's going to be nice to have the flute at least. Cool. This is definitely the most difficult puzzle I've made. A couple of elements in this puzzle are really tough to figure out. And we're ready to DMD again. Let's just do an item count. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, plus a sword. So I'm on 6, plus pot 7. So that's how many items I've got, and I need 8 to climb Hera. So we still couldn't climb Hera right now. And there's no other items available to me at this point. I either need to upgrade my sword, which would then give me a new sword plus sword beams, so I could then go into Hera. And with the Tempered Sword I could get Ether and also go and get the Cane of Samaria. So in fact I'd have 9 items available, because there's no switches needed to get the Cane of Samaria. So after I've got my Tempered Sword, I'm going to have to work out whether I want to go into Hera straight away, or whether I want to be doing dungeons 6 or 5. Because I'm going to need the Gold Sword as well. So like the next task is for me to do Hera, Ice and Maya. I don't need to worry about T-Rock until after the Master Sword. Nor do I need to worry about the switch in Palace of Darkness to get to Helmazor until after I've got the Master Sword. So I've already worked out that I need the Samaria before I do Ice. So it seems like I want to do dungeons 6 and 5. I just need to work out whether I do Hera, then 6 and 5, or if I do 6 and 5, then Hera. Okay. So here's the staircase I need. Obviously you can't jump in, so I can't get bunny glitch. Like that. So the idea is I need to be on the bottom half of the warp, so that I'm half in the water, half on the ladder when I walk to the Dark World. Unfortunately you can't just swim onto it, because it jumps Link up like that. So I thought to myself, what other ways are there of knocking Link backwards? I could bonk or something, if there's something to bonk, or I can damage boost. If I put a bomb here, it will knock me back. And you will see in a second exactly how that works. I want to make sure I've got the correct amount of health though. I'm going to take 1 heart of damage from... Let's kill this guy. From the bomb. So I have half a heart left, which is good. So I don't want lots of health remaining. See? It knocks me into the water. I'm now half in the water, half on the ladder. And I'm now a surfing bunny in this pool of water. You can do the same thing by Lake Hylia. And now I need one of these guards with the spears to come and kill me. And annoyingly, the only entrance is up there. However, this hasn't taken longer than like 2 minutes in all the test playthroughs I've done. When he gets there, like, it's quite rare that he'll ever go back down to the south. He usually pretty consistently comes over this way. It's annoying you can't do something to fully manipulate it. Come on mate, you're almost there. So close, just come left a bit more. You got this, there we go. Shoot a spear, shoot a spear. Oh, I jumped up, what a fucking idiot. I got too excited. Good thing is it's not easy, I mean it's not difficult to retry. Need another heart though. Oh, there was one in the bush. How annoying. Oh, come on. Now he's going to give me a heart. Okay. It's really, it does, like, you can be anywhere, really, with that. Like, it will always knock you back into the water and then stop your momentum. There's no real position required for it. I wonder if they can reach me. No, their things aren't long enough. That's a shame. Where'd he go? I'm just seeing if there's anything else I can do here, like plant a bomb. Don't know why I'd be able to do that, but... Oh, there he is. Oh, he's up here. Come on, mate, let's go. Let's go. Let's go left. Let's go left. He's trying to spam me. No, don't go south. Like, he usually gets stuck in this tree area. So he normally won't go south once he's up here. And he comes up here pretty fast, usually. It's just waiting for him to actually come left a bit more once he's here. Again, this is by far the longest it's taken, and I've done this trick quite a few times. Oh, you had it, mate. You had it. You were so close. There we go. Just shoot once. Ah, oh, you bastard. He's teasing me. It's really hard to control swimming as a bunny. He was in the right alignment there. Where'd he go? Where did he go? It's back over there. I think he went... Oh wow, you can shoot them up here. Did not know that. Maybe that's a lot easier. Fuck knows how that even... How did he even shoot that? I've never seen one come up from the bottom. Maybe he shot it through like the diagonal part of it or something. It's annoying that these walls block their arrows. Come on, son. You got this. You got this. Maybe the one... Which one's going to win? The one on the left or the one on the right? Are they going to kill each other? Shoot. Shoot. Please shoot. Oh, come on, you fucking bastard. Shoot! Just shoot! Oh, come on. So close yet so far. Don't know where the other one disappeared to. Thank God he shot 2 then. Okay, so that took far longer than it's ever taken me before. But lo and behold, I am Link in the Dark World. Over this side of the map. I could get the magic cape, but then I'd have to do that trick again, so fuck that. Although actually... Actually, the magic cape's not going to be useful at all. But pretty much, as soon as I've opened this... It doesn't matter what I do now. Like, I can get back in here as a bunny, and then return to Link by dying inside here. I wonder how many people are going to work out how to do that particular bunny revival. That's hands down the hardest part of the challenge. Plus figuring out you need to freeze an enemy. Oh no! If you get turned into a bunny by a thing, you don't revert back into Link. Good to know. That's a little bit annoying actually, because now when I leave I'm going to be in the fake Dark World. So when I then go back to the Dark World I'll be a bunny, so I will have to do that trick again I think. So that I can get the Tempered Sword. Or I could, like, I don't know how to do the mirror jumps to get Tempered Sword. But you could do that anyway. And actually, there's nothing stopping you from skipping that bunny revival I did and getting the Tempered Sword that way. And then that way we'd be able to climb Hera, because we'd have 8 items. We could get the Ether to get 9 items. So the next thing to think about is, if we did do that, if we then climbed Hera, we'd use up 8 of the items, so we'd have 1 item spare, and we've also used the pot. So what would you then use in Ice and Maya? We can use a frozen enemy in one of them. We have 1 item left over. And we could also then get the Cane of Briner, because we'd have the Moon Pole. So we'd have a total of 3 items to hit 4 switches. So it doesn't, like, we wouldn't be able to get through Ice or Maya. We can't get the Gold Sword or the Silver Arrows, because we haven't defeated those 2 dungeons yet. So if we climbed Ice before climbing, if we climbed Hera before defeating Ice and Maya, it looks like we're going to run out of items. Whereas if we did Ice and Maya first, and let's say we use up the items we want to get rid of, because we're going to upgrade them. So if we use the bow, because we're going to replace that with silver arrows, and we use the Tempered Sword, because we're going to get the Gold Sword, and then let's say we use the pot in Ice and a frozen enemy in Maya. So I've used those 4 things to get through those 2 dungeons. Then I'll be able to get Gold Sword and silver arrows, so immediately I get my 2 items back. I get used to the bow and the sword again. So I'll still have, then I'll have 8 available items to get through Hera with still. I'll have the silver arrows, the bombs, the fire rod, the ice rod, the hammer. I have the gold sword. I have sword beams. And I will have something else. Cane of Samaria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's it. That takes me up to 8. And therefore I will be able to do Hera that way. So actually, just a 2-minute thinking there, that's allowed me to solve which order I need to do the dungeons in. So I need to do 6 and 5, then Hera. So for this switch, We established I was going to use my fighter sword, didn't we? I don't need to go north there, because there's no reason to kill blind. I don't need to go right there, because I don't need the small key. And yay, we got the Titan's Mitts. Because I've died in the dungeon, I'm pretty sure I'm now in the fake Dark World. Yeah, you can tell. So when I leave to get the smithy, I'm going to be, like, I need to be a bunny to go back into the Dark World. So if I hadn't have died, well, if I hadn't got turned into the bunny inside the dungeon, rather, I should have still been normal Link when I returned, I believe. I'm going to actually test that. Just because I want to know. It means doing bunny revival again, though. Or not, technically. I mean, I could get the Tempered Sword early. Like, there's absolutely nothing stopping me doing that. But I still need to do Dungeons 5 and 6 beforehand. It just means I can skip a bunny revival. If I happen to die in a... Oh wow, I'm a bit too far south. That's the first time we've ever missed it. Okay, let's hope that this is a bit of a quicker one this time. I've had more luck with the guy on the right. I don't know where he is right now. Okay, good. Come on, sunshine. There's usually two of them. Where's the other one? Okay, so they can actually shoot through that south bit of wall there too. That makes this a hell of a lot easier. It's far easier to manipulate them through that wall. Now I might have to do that trick again for a third time. If I turn back to a bunny after going in here, I just want to check. Blah blah blah, I did all that stuff, I didn't die. Oh, it automatically puts you back as a bunny, okay. Well, never mind. Either you need to do the mirror jumps for Tempered, or you will need to do that trick twice. The good thing is, doing early Tempered doesn't allow you to change the route. You still have to do the dungeon order the same, even if you get the Tempered Sword early. I need 1.5 half hearts. How many do these do? Is he going to come up or is he going to go down? This one's pretty far up already. And he's coming back down. And he's going back up. And he's coming back down. Okay, it's when they're right on the corner and they shoot that it seems to go through. Ah! Oh, come on, I'm bad at controlling my character. This is actually much easier than I thought it was. Come on. I've had like 3 ones that could kill me. I just hadn't controlled myself well enough. Okay, let's try this guy. Hey, they're both up here. There we go. See, it's RNG dependent, but it's really not that bad. The hardest thing is actually just controlling the swimming guy. Like, the enemies are pretty good actually. Like, it doesn't normally take long for them to give you an arrow that kills you. So if you know how to do mirror jump, you only need to do that glitch once. Otherwise you need to do it twice. I've done it 3 times just because I wanted to check what happens when you exit Thieves' Town. I'm trying to think, if I had gone on the other side of the blocks and the Dark World, when I walked back to the Dark World I would have been a bunny, therefore I would have been stuck there. At least now I can go back to the Dark World town if I want to. I haven't really thought about what I'm doing next yet. Maya is next, I guess. I could go and I could get half magic pretty easily if I was feeling so inclined. Okay, you got the tempered. Actually, the first thing I want to do is go get Ether. And then actually I can go straight to Maya, which is pretty cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, I could climb Hera now because I've got enough stuff. But like I said earlier, if I did that, I wouldn't have enough items to do dungeons 5 and 6, so I'd never be able to get the gold sword. The reason being, I need to be able to access the silver arrows and the gold sword as soon as possible after using the tempered sword and the bow for switches. Therefore, it makes sense that I want to be using those 2 items on the switches that allow me to get those items, rather than on the ones in Hera. Otherwise, I need an extra 4 switches to be hit 2 in Ice, 2 in Maya, without access to those items. It's just sensible ordering. Okay. Oh, actually I've got Tempered Sword now, so I can kill another boss actually. So I can go kill Lamolars. May as well go and do that while I'm here. Seeing as I'm heading there anyway. How annoying. Wow, come on. And it was a quick warp, nice. May as well use the fire rod now that I've got it. Good old fire rod. Just to make sure I've got enough magic for fire rod molars, fire molars. Through the door. That went very well. And there's boss 2 of that world done. So now I'm going to bunny revive here so that I can open the way to Maya. That guy is going to kill me. Actually, I could use a Sandman or a Vulture to... You want to make sure you're quite far into the water, I think. Actually, I'm not sure whether you need to die in one hit. I think you do. So I'm just going to redo that. Because I thought it'd kill me in one. Lovely jubbly. Making pretty good progress, and I still only hit one switch. But then the dungeons that are requiring them are all coming up now. Nice, I've already got 4 beams. So it's pretty much going to be business as usual for most of this dungeon, really. Except for I'm just not hitting that first crystal switch. So skipping that crystal there. Those enemies were trying to rumble me. We got the big key. We want to make our way back. Although we can't get the bitch key, and the spike room is going to destroy me with this many hearts to get that key. No hookshot there. See, that's where we normally hit the switch for, so that we can go through there. Again, it's not necessary. It's just faster. I saw that, but thought I'd be able to make it in time. Wow, I got duped. I'm gonna take an alternate path here. Not this one though. Just so I don't need to take loads of damage at the bitch key. Like the spike key even. I'd rather just keep my life. Probably don't need this, but why not? So this room, we'd normally do the switch up here, but because I haven't hit one in the dungeon yet, we don't actually need to hit that. We can just go straight through here. These yellow pegs will be down. Oh, I tried to get that bomb. So here, right, what am I going to want to use? I've decided I wanted to use an enemy, a pot, the tempered sword and the bow. For the first 4 switches, the 2 in ice and the 2 in Maya. So I'm going to use the tempered sword here for this one. Oh, no way. Here, I could use the pot, but if I use the pot, then in the ice room, there's no... Wow, these things take 2 hearts, holy shit. Oh wait, no, it took 1 heart. If I use the pot here, I can't use the pot in the ice room above Starfoes, and I can't use an enemy in that room, whereas I can use an enemy in this room. I'm going to use Ether instead of Ice Rod, because I'm planning on using the Ice Rod to hit a switch by its own accord. Look at that, lovely. Isn't that cool? I'd quite like some more hearts, if I'm honest. I just don't want to die to Vitreous. It would have been better if I had come with, like, if it would have been worthwhile getting a second bottle so that after Bunny Revival I'd have another fairy, or even more than one. There we go. Okay, first Dark World boss. Oops, that's not the bow. Wait, how did a rupee drop? I stunned a small eye with the ether, did I? What the fuck? How bizarre. How weird. Oh, look out for a future puzzle that requires getting rupees from bosses. Wonder if you can do that on Argus's puffballs. That's probably it. There's no other boss that would really have any effect on, I don't think. Okay, so next is Ice Palace. Although, one thing to consider is, if you're not in the true Dark World, when you complete the dungeon, the crystal doesn't drop. So if I'd died in here, and then gone to the boss room, the crystal probably wouldn't have dropped. So in Ice Palace, the first thing I do to revert to normal Link after entering is to kill myself. Therefore I'm going to be in the fake Dark World. And then if I leave, go back to the real Dark World, go back in, I'm a bunny again. So I can't actually get through the first room of Ice Palace in the true Dark World. Unless I've killed Agon in 1. And if I kill Agon in 1, then there is no fake Dark World anymore. There's just the two real Dark World and the Dark World. Because it takes you into phase 3 of the game. Therefore, before I do Ice, the next thing I need to do is kill Aghanim. And I could have been safe and killed Aghanim before I've done this dungeon, in case I've died in it. So, you can see in the rules, that's why it says that Aghanim is not a Light World boss. Otherwise I'd need another sword to kill Aghanim with. At this point in the game, which is not possible. So that's just a pretty cool, convenient little thing. And like I said earlier, I haven't written any rules down for no reason. This is the exact reason that I've specified that he is not a Light World boss. I missed. And the reason I've written that other glitches allowed is in case people wonder whether you can do Bunny Revival glitch, which obviously you can. And hovering, if you wanted to, you could have done that in Ice. It's going to be Beetle and Hera. Jab 1.0 glitches like fake flips and all that malarkey is obviously allowed. And all just the super speeds and stuff. haven't got a shield, have I? That was a weird room. It's unusual coming through here with a tempered sword as well. But pretty much there. I need to go ice and then climb Hera. And then I can kill the 2 bosses. That's it. So we're nearly there. We're almost 2 hours in. But again, I've been doing a lot of thinking, a lot of talking, a lot of pausing and brooding and trying to emulate as much as possible as if I was in a real puzzle situation. Obviously, I've arrived at conclusions a bit faster than other people will because I know the answers. But then equally, I've made a few mistakes, like I died on the overworld and had to redo some things. I tested out that Thieves Down thing with the bunny revival glitch that I didn't need to do. So like, I've not been rushing. Like, it's definitely possible to do this faster than I've done it, by quite a lot. Nice, I get 2 blue balls in a freaking puzzle. And I'm a buddy on the pyramid. Actually, I think if I remember rightly, this text is extra long when I'm a bunny. I can't quite remember. I think there's like an extra 2 text boxes at the end that says something about getting the moon pearl. Yeah, you'd normally lift your sword up there, so this is an extra text box. 1, 2. Yeah, there we go. And now I can actually save and quit in the dark world, and it will take me back to the pyramid. And these doors are locked. Wait, have I got a fairy? No. Actually, there's a fairy fountain just outside. Ice. Could even upgrade my bombs and arrows if I wanted. Wait a minute, I don't need a bunny revive, what am I doing? This was completely pointless, I'm about to go and kill myself. For some reason I was thinking I needed a fairy, but I don't. In fact, I need to not have a fairy. At least these things do like 4,000 hearts worth of damage. See, if I hadn't killed Aghanim, I'd now be in the fake Dark World. But because there isn't a fake Dark World anymore, I'm now in the real Dark World. Okay, so we're going to get to the crystal switch room. So this is the first confusing room. So I wanted to use a pot. I could use one in, like if I used the pot in Maya on that second switch, or I used an enemy, I couldn't have used the pot here, but there's no enemy in here that I can freeze. So I need to use the pot. And it just gives you one because it's lovely like that. And then what else did I want to use? I've used the tempered sword, I've used the pot, an enemy, and the bow. The bow is the other one I wanted to use because I'm going to replace it with silver arrows. So I want to use the bow here on this switch. And look at that, we're through. And after this dungeon, I'm going to get use of my sword and the bow back. We said earlier that we don't want to hit that switch again because it's not needed. Just going to collect extra power-ups. I'll come off it. Oh, I lost a heart trying to get a heart. Nice. So these are down. I want to conserve health as much as I possibly can. So I'm going to try everything. I think this is magic, yeah. I'm going to try killing enemies just to get heart drops. Okay, so we're at the crossroads room. Now since I don't know how to do the diagonal bomb jump or hover, I'm going to be taking the long route through here. Which I actually think is the most interesting route through as well. Why have I done that? Which one's the other one? This one. There's a cool chest here that if you had the hook shot, you can actually hook shot over that gap too. I don't know if you can bonk over that from there. No. But if you open the chest, it stays there forever. This is what I was talking about earlier. These blocks are down now, so I can just walk right. And I can get a small key in this room. Nice. I'm not going to use slashes, I'm just going to use dashes. So now I've got 2 small keys. One of these is a bunny turner. What's that one? Fuck it, I ain't risking the health in there. Oh, if I hadn't got hit then that would have been epic. Then I can come back over this way. Now I have access to this door because I had the small key for it. That's annoying, I actually have to tank damage here. See, having the magic powder would actually be really good. So I'll be able to ferry to that. The safeties would be a really good idea for this puzzle. Now we've got the small key. I don't want to go back that way because I'll have to hit switches again. Hopefully that drops a heart. This is not ideal. See, that takes me... That's where I'd come from. That's where I'd arrive if I'd done the route through using the bomb jump or hover. So I wouldn't have had to have done the little south loop in that bomb jump that I did. Now I'm going to get blue mail because there's nothing stopping me doing that. And I've already got the big key. And this is the way I need to be coming anyway. And it looks swag. Don't trust that guy. He's awake. Why was he awake? I'd love a heart. I've got a spare key, may as well use it. I can't hit that switch, so I can't actually get the hearts in that room. This is why we needed the Cane of Samaria. I don't have enough magic anyway. For this is annoying. Still need more magic. It's a good job it respawns after you go up and down stairs. He says. I think it does. It doesn't, but the enemies do in here. See, this is annoying because it... Well... Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna pretend that I came in more equipped than this, and that like I can't be asked to go through Ice Palace just because I don't have enough freaking materials right now. Pretend I hadn't hit that switch, and that I'd come in with a green potion or something, or that I just hadn't been an idiot going through Ice Palace. I bet I die now. I have to redo it anyway. I could have done like gone upstairs, done a whole nother loop for a big ice. I don't have enough magic. I just noticed after I came down because I used the Cane of Samaria and then didn't replenish it. So I'm gonna have to redo this anyway. But that's no problem, no bother. try and keep maxed as much as possible as I can on magic and health. Now I'm going to have to hit these crystals again. I'm just going to pretend that this is my first time through the dungeon. And again, that I'd come in more prepared than I had. Which I'm expecting everyone probably will. So do that. That is not conserving health. Okay, good. Actually, yeah, being half a heart down is a good thing. It means I have no sword beams on Gold's there, but it won't affect the amount of damage I can take. Instead of killing him, I'm just going to run around him. I meant to cancel that dash long before I got hit by that thing. Take half heart of damage there. This time we're ready. I'll tell you what, half magic would have been so useful. Because we killed Agon, the crystal will drop. Excuse me. And now we have 5 and 6 done. We've used the bow, we've used the sword. We can now go and do the remaining 2. Go get the gold sword, silver arrows. I can now kill Moldorm with the gold sword at the same time as I'm climbing. Then after that, we have to get the master sword. Then I'll start thinking about Helmasaur and Trinex after that point. So where do I want to go? I want to be in the light world. Hold on. Without the moon pearl, the only way I can get to the bunny shop is by DMDing. The bomb shop, not the bunny shop. Yeah, I have to DMD. Because even if I use like Swamp or Lost Woods Warp or whatever, I'm a bunny again, so I can never get out of those areas. Like there's pegs or there's bushes. The only way to get out in the open without the Moon Pearl in the Dark World is the DMD. There's no other way of doing it. Or if you kill Aghanim and you go to the pyramid, then you can roam around that part of the map as a bunny. But that's very unhelpful, really. You can't do anything. Well, actually, you could have activated Fake Bunny on the stairs that take you up to Palace of Darkness, like right on the right hand side of Lake Hylia, and then gone into Palace of Darkness that way. But you need to have killed Aghanim, in which case you needed either the Magic Cape or the Tempered Sword, which you can't get. So that wouldn't have been possible, but it is possible to do at some point in the future. We've got a nice long walk to the bomb shop. Got enough rubies. And then I'll finally have the Moon Pearl, which would be very nice. It's worth noting that I could have defeated dungeons 1, 2, 3... Wait, 1... Well, the only dungeon I couldn't do without the Moon Pearl. Can I do 7? Yeah. Like, I couldn't do dungeon 2 without a frame perfect death entry to Swamp, and I was keen to avoid having that in this. It's like an RNG from the enemy as well. Wait, I'm going up there. So you could actually like do the whole game, like without the Moon Pearl and any major glitches other than Bunny Revival and DMD. You can do all of the Darkwood dungeons, go into Ganon's Tower, do that, and kill Ganon. It is possible. Oh, she's, look, my sprite just turned to Link from the bunny. That's pretty cool. Although I can't use my sword. Apparently I am still a bunny. I just have Link's sprite. Okay. Now I'm equipped for Hera. Yeah, I'm still a bunny. So let's just count the items. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sword beams and my gold sword, 7, 8 to climb Hera with for 8 switches. And then I can kill Moldorm because I've got the gold sword. Then after that I can get the Master Sword. Then I can get the Boomerang and I can get the Hook Shot if I need them. I haven't figured out if I need them yet. I can get the Cane of Bryna if I need it. Well, actually, I have worked out that I need all of those things because I worked out how many switches I need. Wow, I just literally pressed the mirror button and he booted him at me. Okay. I need full health. Where is their hearts in this dungeon? It's probably better to come in with full health. Where can I get health? There's a big Great Fairy in the Dark World, actually. Like a healing fairy. So I need to be using Saw Beams in Hera, so I need to make sure I conserve my health and enter with full health. Again, some of these crystal switches are going to need ranged weapons, some are going to be close range weapons. So this one is short range. So I'm using that as the gold sword, not the sword beam. This one can be the hammer. Then I could either mirror or walk back up. I worked out it doesn't matter. So let's go for the rods. Fire and ice. Didn't mean to throw the pot out the switch, so I'll just reset it. Here, let's use bomb. And I guess I could even just... Wow, I hit it twice. I must have planted 2 bombs by accident. And I could do bow there like that. That was just sloppy from me. I was meant to be conserving health. Ah, perfect. What have I got left? I've used that, used that, used that, used that, used that. So I've got the Cane of Samaria and Sword Beams left. Sword Beams. Samaria. So I'm out of items to use now. Again, I didn't need to hit that. I can't step on the floor star tile. So I could hover that gap, or I could bomb jump it. Oh, I haven't got a shield to help me align. How annoying. I really don't know how far I need to be now. We'll try that. Nice. There's one bomb jump. What's in this room? Again, a star tile. Can't hit that. I could bomb jump that. It's going to be a bit trickier because it's a horizontal one there. That looks about right. You always need to align yourself. Wow, first time. Beautiful. And I got full health again. And that's it. So there's actually only just 2 bomb jumps. A rare horizontal bomb jump, which is pretty cool. Again, if you know how to hover, you could hover those gaps. And then another regular bomb jump here. Can't touch those star tiles. So I can't go back that way. I can't bomb jump over them. Can't death warp. Can't save quick. Can't mirror. So the only option is to fall down and land on a wall. Nice. That's actually all there is to Hera. That's it. We're done. That was not nearly that hard. Can even get sword beams because those pots are available. And he is so easy with a gold sword. And now we can go get the Master Sword! Yay! And I've got the Moon Pearl. Although whilst I'm here, I want to get Cane of Briner, seeing as I'm right next to it. However, I don't have enough hearts for it, so I need a fairy. Ask and ye shall receive. Beautiful. I also need to get the boomerang and the hook shot. So what do I want to do first? Probably go to town. Yeah, go to town first. Let's get the boom. Where's the boom? Down here. I want to get the Master Sword. Might have been quicker to have just dashed to the Lost Woods from where I was. It's so long since I've done that dash route. Wow, there's a guard here. Just chilling in the Lost Woods. So we've got the Master Sword. Next is... That's it. I can't get the red boomerang yet. Don't really need fairy, got no more bunny revivals. So I can go to Palace of Darkness now. Actually, I may as well heal whilst I'm here. God, you rarely see this, do you? It's a shame because it's such a pointless warp. Because you can just use the pyramid or the swamp warp, and you're pretty much here. Wow, stop bonking. Again, I've only got one crystal switch I can hit in here. So I decided that I wanted to go the right hand route through this dungeon to avoid having to hit 2 switches. That did not lag as much as I thought it would. I'm sure there's a way to make that so you get a perfect dash through. That'd be pretty cool to know. It's going to be arrows. Again, we don't need to hit that. We can skip hitting the statue because we've got the cane. We don't need to hit that because it's already down because we haven't hit a crystal. It's a pretty cool route through darkness. Now you can actually freeze these guys. So I could actually freeze this and throw it at that. It's a different enemy to the one I used in Maya, but I wasn't sure whether people would think that. Like, if you freeze an enemy and throw it, does that count as your use of a frozen enemy? And if you use the can you use the ice rod to freeze it and then throw it? Does that count as using the ice rod? That's why I used Ether earlier, to freeze the enemy and throw it. I mean, I don't care if you use the ice rod or the ether to freeze it, and I don't care if you throw an enemy here, as well as in Maya, but you can just boomerang it. And I've used the boomerang rather than the Master Sword at the Cane of Samaria, because after this I can upgrade this to the red boomerang. Whereas if I'd used, like, that means I have 4 things available in T-Rock. I have the red boomerang, the Cane of Bryna, the Master Sword, and is that it? Who am I forgetting? And the hook shot when I get it. Whereas if I hadn't used that, if I'd used either the hook shot, the Master Sword, well, I couldn't use the Master Sword in that switch, or the Cane of Bryna. I could have used the hook shot, but if I used the hook shot, then when I went into Turtle Rock, I would have still had the blue boomerang. I could have used that to get the big key, but then I would have had to have left, gone to get the red boomerang, and then gone back into Turtle Rock. It's just like effort, so it's best to use the blue boomerang there. Or if someone does use the really? If someone does freeze an enemy and use it there, they're going to have a spare item to use in Turtle Rock, which is fine. They can either skip upgrading a boomerang, or skip getting... Well, actually, you could use the normal boomerang. Actually, for this boss, the restriction is bombs and Master Sword, isn't it? God, I'm bad. Master Sword. 4, 5, 6, 7. The last bomb must have done damage to him as well as the mask. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, the last 2 dungeons are a bit... You could do various things. If I still had access to the blue boomerang right now, then I could still go get the big key, then go get the red boomerang, then come back. And then... No, actually, no. To get through the final maze in Turtle Rock, you need to hit 3 switches, and 2 of those need to be long-range weapons. So I do need the hook shot, as well as one of the boomerangs. So I need to get the hook shot in any case, and I could use the Master Sword for the other one. So I could go in, use the Master Sword for that one. Boomerang. Okay, that's the only... There's two possible things I can do. I could use the blue boomerang on the first switch to get the big key, go get the red boomerang, go back with the hook shot. And I could skip getting the Cane of Briner, because I could use the Master Sword, the red boom, and the hook shot for the maze at the end. That's if I used a frozen enemy in Palace of Darkness. So actually the only thing I can skip is the Cane of Briner. Still need both boomerangs and the hook shot. Or I can do what I did, use a blue boomerang there, and then instead of having to leave after getting the big key with the blue boomerang, to get the red boom, I can just do it all beforehand and just do the dungeon in one go. Doesn't really matter. Do I need any more bombs? Don't know. But hey, we're pretty much there. All I've got to do is go kill Trinex. Well, I'll get the hook and red boom and then go kill Trinex. So we should come in at under 3 hours for this puzzle. It's easily doable in 2 hours, I think. Like once you know the route and what you're doing, this is doable in under 2, for sure. And it's used every single dungeon. I've even had to go into Aga's Tower, but I haven't had to go into Ganon's Tower and get all the crystals and kill all the bosses. That's one thing I was keen to avoid. And also there's been no restrictions on boss fights, except for obviously the 2 that were the goal. So I can't hit that switch, but I can just either tank damage or Briner my way through. Could have gone and got the magic cape as well, I suppose. Bit of effort. Swamp is a very boring dungeon, isn't it? Let's spruce it up with some hammer swag. Oh yeah, look at that. Although he would have killed me. Well, not killed me, but he would have damaged me if I'd jumped off with the hammer out. Typical. What a load of Coswallop. Fifth try is the charm. Okay. We have the hook. Need to go get my red boom. Oh, there's a red guard here. Actually, I've got the Titan Spits now. Oh, I can't upgrade my shield while I'm here. Actually, I should probably get a green potion while I'm here, seeing as I'm going to be fighting Trinix with the Master Sword. Nice. And now we do Tuller Rock, final dungeon of the puzzle. Okay, what do I want to do first? Use the Quake entrance and go and get that small key is the first thing I want to do. Well, actually, I need to go into the Dark World here anyway. Well, I could have gone from the base, but it's an effort. Thinking about it, if I had picked up the Bombus for ice, that would have made the whole having enough magic thing a bit easier. Not that it really matters. Like, if I was going to do this again, I'd definitely pick up more safeties. More bottle. I'd probably get 2 bottles and the magic powder and half magic. They all seem pretty worthwhile. That was pretty cool. A Cane of Briner. Dash. Actually, let's get some magic while I'm here. Okay, so we got that small key. Just made that in time. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. The hookshot allows me to get over there as well, so that was a good menu switch. Screw this guy with a master sword, you're getting fire rodded. ACM style. Oops, okay, let's pretend I've used the master sword there. I was mind blanked for a second. Master sword is one of the ones I'm allowed anyway. And that was actually what I was going to use, so that's fine. But I was just on autopilot. Oh, and then we decided that I want a mirror. Okay, so I'll pick up the mirror shield. Want a mirror so that it resets the crystal positions. So that in the room after this, the yellow pegs are down. I was going to kill him, but then I realised it's not worth it. And because I got the key earlier, I don't need to fuss around with those switches. Ah, he died. It would have been nice to try and get a fairy drop from him. Oh, I've got the mirror shield. Why don't I just do that? Okay, so I've got Boom, Hookshot, and Cane of Briner. There's one. I guess what I want to do here, I can use the Hookshot and the Red Boom. Ah, denied. So that's every item. That's all 18 possibilities of hitting switches done. And lo and behold, I am where I need to be. Really had to think about which rod is used then. Oh wow, I died. I was really not even concerned about dying. I was just concerned about magic. Well, I suppose I'll go through the dungeon again and just pretend that I hadn't already hit the crystal switches. Or maybe I'll clarify that if you die, you can hit the same crystal switches with the same item. I missed him. Fantastic. I can't even proceed. Oh no! Come on, drop something. Give me the damn fairy, bitch. Well, full life, full magic. Take 2. Like, I was tanking damage against Trinex the first time, I just wasn't even trying to avoid it. Because I didn't think it was going to be an issue. How wrong I was. I'll still do it how I did it last time. You, and then you. And then you. Full health, full life, and a greenie. Got no excuse to fuck this up. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It's a good job I bought a green potion. Oh, come on. Time to stop playing around. If I died to him then. Technically that's not done. Don't even need the crystal, but... 2, 55, 23, 53. Ugh. Under 3 hours. That took. And my Amorex just crashed. So good timing. If I now unplug Amorex or close it, it's going to give me a blue screen of death. So I'm going to wrap up this recording quickly. That was puzzle number 39, my hardest puzzle by far. Most difficult elements were definitely to work out how to do bunny revival in the north of Dark World Hyrule, and figure out to freeze an enemy and throw it at a switch. Working out the other 16 items is pretty straightforward, and then using them, like working out where to use them, is a little more tricky. I guess the difficult thing is working out the dungeon order. You need to work out that you need to do Ice and Maya before you do Hera. Even though it's delaying the Moon Pearl, it's the only way to get through it, which you would work out if you start considering that after you've defeated Ice and Maya, you can then replace your bow and your sword. So if you're using those 2 items in those dungeons, then you replenish them for use in Hera. A couple of cool bomb jumps in Hera, a pretty cool path through Ice Palace, and 3 Palace of Darkness, and a pretty cool use of both entrances to Turtle Rock to skip some of the switches there. Slightly unorthodox route in Maya, although it's pretty standard. Although having the frozen enemy in there makes that dungeon pretty cool. Swamp was boring, you just needed the hook shot because you needed another item. Skullwoods was only used for the fire rod. You couldn't kill Mothula. Could have killed Blind if we wanted to in Thieves Town. But again, there was no need to do that. And a slightly unorthodox route in there as well, because you didn't need to use the small key to go up to the top. And yeah, that was pretty much it. The beginning of the game's same, and then all the rest just required a bit of logic, a bit of solving. I mean, I did think through logically everything I was doing here, and the only things you need to know is that, okay, one, you can bunny revive in the north of Hyrule, and you need to use bunny revival. As soon as you know that, and part two, you know that you can freeze an enemy and use that on a switch. Once you've worked out those two things, the rest is pure logic. You can work out exactly what you need to do and how you need to do it just by process of elimination and thinking and routing. I try to avoid things like having to use a specific glitch in the specific spot, like I have in this. And if people aren't figuring it out, I've actually written 2 rhymes that hint towards what the solutions are. I'm pretty sure everyone's going to work out that you can use a pot on a switch, because we do that in the speedrun route anyway. And then I'm thinking and I'm hoping that people will realise that an extension of throwing a pot at something is you could throw something else at them. You could throw a frozen enemy at them. Hopefully somebody figures that out without hints. And hopefully somebody, like, also, if people complain about crystals not dropping in Dungeons 5 and 6, then they just need to go and kill Aghanim. There's nothing restricting them doing that. So, you know, that's not a problem with the puzzle at all. The only annoying thing is the RNG dependency on getting the bunny revival at the north of Hyrule. But as we saw in this puzzle, you can actually get it from the top or the bottom, which makes it quite a bit easier. And it didn't take me longer than a couple of minutes. Like, I think I got it in under 1 minute on the second and third try. And the first time took me a few minutes, but again, it's just, once you figure it out, it's not that hard to do. Yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the solution video and me talking through kind of how I came up with it and how I would tackle the problems. You can probably see clearly now why all the rules are there. Rule 1, the different swords, is to force you to go into Dungeons 5 and 6, which, to get the gold sword before you can get the master sword. And that forces you to go into Dungeon 4 and Dungeon 1 to get the items you need. And then you either need to go into Dungeon 3 to get the fire rod or get the bombus to get through ice. Aghanim doesn't count as a lightweight boss, that's so you can ensure crystal drops in 5 and 6. The crystal switches, obviously, I've already talked about that enough, I won't go back into that. The sub-rules are just trying to clarify that you can use pots, all your swords, and both levels of bow, both boomerangs, sword beams, and enemies, like, without giving the fact that you can pots and enemies away. That's what those sub-points are trying to allude to. The floor star tiles, that's obviously so that you have that cool route through Hera. I liked that idea of having to use a couple of bomb jumps or hovering through there. It's just something a bit different. The restrictions, not being allowed to get either boomerang was the main restriction that I wanted to put in place, so that you couldn't boomerang the small key in Hera. That skips 2 crystal switches being hit, and it also gives you 2 items to hit switches elsewhere, which makes the puzzle extremely easy in terms of the routing. And again, I needed to limit the hook shot. I needed to limit another item that wasn't needed anywhere else, so that it was not possible to do Hera before doing Maya and Ice. I want people to realise that you can't do it, which, like I did, using logic, you can work out that you have to do Ice and Maya before Hera. Therefore, the hook shot is banned to make sure that happens. Otherwise, the hook shot doesn't really open up many possibilities. It just gives you that extra 1 item early on that would let you do Hera first. And then the no major glitches except for mirror clips, so you need to use D&D and Turtle Rock Hop. No need to do Fluteless Maya because you can get the flute. You could do it if you wanted to, nothing's stopping you. And then other glitches allowed, so Jap 1.0 glitches, hovering, bunny glitch are all allowed. And yeah, and that's it. That was it. You could have killed Blind for an extra heart container. You could have collected all the heart pieces you wanted, all the bottles you wanted, half magic powder. Like, I got the blue mail and the mirror shield just because why not. So in terms of like dying, they're all like running out of magic. I did that a couple of times in this run because I was just playing through pretty much what just getting the essentials. Um, so if I was actually playing it through, I'd probably farm materials whilst I'm excuse me, farm a few of those materials whilst I was working out my route in my head, kind of thing. And I'm sure people will be grabbing them anyway. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. That's why all the rules are there that are there. That's how I would have tackled this if this had been given to me. The initial idea came about because I had the idea of using like every switch only being able to be hit once, and then I thought, okay, well, that's alright, it's a bit boring. And then if I added on, okay, I can only use it once per item. Like every switch has to be hit with something different, and can only be hit once with each weapon, kind of thing. That really opened up a pretty good kind of puzzle element. And then Hera was the main dungeon with the most switches, so I really just wanted to make Hera as hellish as possible. That's why the boomerangs are banned, so that you have to hit switches 8 times instead of 6. And that's why the floor star tiles are banned, so you have to do bomb jumps to get through. That was the foundation of the puzzle, was how the hell do I get enough items to get through Hera. And then I wanted to make crystal switches be hit with a frozen enemy as well. That was like the other one I wanted. And there's a couple of places you could do that, which was Darkness and Maya. Oh, and also Beetle Room. Beetle Room was a bit boring because we've already done loads of stuff in Hera. I tried to make it Darkness for a long time, but the route wouldn't work out that way. So I changed it to Maya. And then I had to make you have a reason to go to kill Vitreous, if that's the place where you had to use a frozen enemy. Therefore I thought, okay, well, why would I ever want to kill Vitreous? Well, you need to kill Vitreous and Cold Stare for the gold sword or silver arrows. So I was like, okay, well, let's see whether I can find a way to get that into it. And then I thought, okay, if I make the gold sword required, then that's a good thing. How can I make the gold sword required? I thought, let's make somebody have to get the master sword, so they have to kill all the light world bosses. And then let's say that each of the light world bosses has to have a different sword guild with it, because that accounts for all swords. And I thought, well, why would I want to make anyone get the master sword? Like, what's the point in that? And I was like, oh, well, I could just make that the actual goal. And then the initial goal was just to get the master sword. But then I really wanted the cool unorthodox routes through Palace of Darkness, and like using both entrances of Turtle Rock to be part of the puzzle as well. So I just decided to have the goal as killing them using the master sword, and the other items that you need to be able to kill them. And then to be able to do that, you need a few more items after you get the master sword, and it just so happens that it perfectly works out that once you've got the moon pearl, you can get Bryna, you have the master sword, you have access to the 2 boomerangs and the hook shot. So if I made that a restriction, then you have the 5 items you need to hit 5 switches. Like, it's funny, but puzzles always work out perfectly. Like, you can morph your ideas so that it just works. Like, that's why I banned the hook shot. Like, I just needed 1 item less, so I banned it there and allowed it later, and then it just fits perfectly. That seems to always happen. So that's how I came up with this idea. I tried to keep it without having many limitations on boss fights, only the ones in the goal, because I know people haven't enjoyed that so much in the past, and it's been done quite a lot. And I tried to allow as much stuff as possible so that you can collect whatever you want without any penalties, hence all the safeties are allowed and stuff. As with all my puzzles, all the major glitches aren't allowed except for the mirror clips. That's just how I like it, because you have to root and use logic to solve it, without having to know the precision of the clips and the knowledge of what each clip will allow you to do. It's a bit easier to think through when you've only got to worry about DMD, essentially. But yeah, that's the puzzle. me and Sean Cass are working on another one, which is very different to any that have been done before, and it's not particularly challenging, it's more fun. Whereas this is probably the hardest puzzle I've ever made. The one with Sean Cass is probably going to be well, not the easiest, but definitely the easiest for a long time, and it's very different and more fun, so that should be really good. I've also got another Christmas puzzle, which I'm going to be doing sometime around Christmas, which again, that's not really a puzzle, that's just a fun race. That like estimated time of completion for someone that speedruns A Link to the Past will be about half an hour. It's just like a nice fun goal that any noob could join. You don't need any knowledge of glitches or anything, but everything's going to be allowed. So if you know how to EG or do whatever, you can do it. So that should be good fun. And then I've also got one solo puzzle idea that I'm trying to pull together. But at the moment it's still in its beta testing phase. So there's a few more puzzles and fun challenges that I'm coming up with at the moment, and they should be with you guys in the next couple of months. Hope you enjoyed this video and the puzzle, and catch you guys soon. Ciao.